Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to stage 2 of Lap It Up. This time from the Glasgow. We will be doing six laps on the Crit Circuit Reverse. We did Crit Circuit a few weeks ago, but this time it's going to be reverse, so it should be somewhat different. I had to take a few days off after the Gran Fondo because it really wrecked me. I was surprised how bad it wrecked me, and hopefully I'm recovered enough. As you are watching this, I am on my vacation in Dubai, but I made sure to keep the consistent schedule in uploading, so you shouldn't be missing anything. As always, if you're racing, good luck. If you like my content, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Welcome once again. As you might have probably noticed, I have changed my interface again. There is no more source for Zwift anymore, and I replaced that by a new solution that you can see on the screen right now. The reason for that was the windowed mode that is necessary for source for Zwift slowed the game way too much for my taste. I had really low frame rates, and considering I have pretty strong PC, I decided I don't want to ride like that, so I chose this solution. It's a pity because the sauce was very useful, but the performance was really bad. We got the breakaway. So as I have said on the start, this is the Glasgow Crit Circuit Reverse. 6 laps of it, to be specific, and it features 2 big climbs. This is the start of the first one. It is shorter but steeper. You really need to push well beyond your FTP to stay with the group. And the second one is the Clyde Kicker Reverse that you will be able to see in a short while. This was my first proper race as a B rider. I've raced the Gran Fondo in B as well, but that was more of a fun endeavor, to be honest, because I didn't train for that event. This is the Clyde Kicker Reverse. It's not as steep as from the other side, but it's a little bit longer. And you need to keep the momentum over the crest of the hill so you can really stay with the group on the descent that is very steep. Whee! Since the course goes over and over in laps, I will fast forward for the most part. My strategy for this race was to keep up with the front group for as long as possible. And similarly to when I was racing Glasgow last time, I was able to do that for quite a good portion of the race. I tried to learn from my past experience and tried to really push hard on the hills and recover on the descents and the flats. Also, I tried to use every single power-up I had. Most of them were aero power-ups though, so there wasn't that help on the climbs as I would want. This course is pretty treacherous because it's constantly up and down. There is very little flat sections. Neither the ups and downs are very steep, but they are just going over and over again, and you really need to change the pace all the time. And it is the kind of course that starts to be really difficult after halfway point. So the first half is quite manageable, as you can see.
This is end of a fourth lap, and the group is still largely together. There is a small breakaway of few riders on the front, but most of the group is together. And this was the fifth climb of the day, and this is where the group started to crumble. Front group divided into two parts, the front and the chasing group, which I was part of. And here comes the start of the last lap. As you can see, my heart rate is sitting at 172 BPM, but in the previous lap on the climbs, I reached 179. So that's another sign that you really need to push hard on the hard parts of the course. What I find is an excellent strategy for courses like this is just break it into individual laps and just focus on doing one at a time, because none of the individual laps are super hard or super long or super exhausting, but it is when you realize you need to do 6 of them, it's where it's mentally taxing. But when you do one at a time, it's quite manageable. Here comes the first of the 2 climbs of the last lap. I had a featherweight power up for this last one, so I had an opportunity to help myself actually during the last lap, but at this point I was pretty tired. I was secretly hoping that I might be able to last with the front group throughout the whole race this time, but that wasn't the case. I might have had some residual fatigue from the Gran Fondo, but I don't know, I wasn't able to keep up the tempo of the front group. Here is going to come the last small descent before the Clyde Kicker reverse. I was still able to find some residual energy to develop around 500 watts on the climb, which kept me safely in the group. And this is the last climb of the day done, and now it is only descent and basically flat section to the end. Here comes a little breakaway. The guy used the momentum from the descent to really leave the group and push, which is actually something that normally I would want to do, but at this point I was glad that I was glad. So here we are in the last kilometer of the race, and it doesn't look like there will be another attack to break the group, so I was slowly preparing for the finishing sprint. I had another featherweight power up here, which was pretty good. I timed it so it would actually cover even part of the small climb before the finish line, but here I made a tactical mistake and started the finishing sprint a little too late. So hope you enjoyed this race. It was quite short. If you liked it, please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next race. Ciao.